I'm Itos Valdes, by the way. If you don't know, I'm the eldest son. You don't know, I can feel his joy tonight more than any, in the past night. Because his joy of Lasal, his times in Lasal, gave him the purest and most unadulterated um, smile that he ever talking about it. Sitting in our lunches, he always talks about, oh, when we were in Lasal, we did this. When we were in, my barkada is better than yours. Growing up. Parating ganun si Papa. And there's always a smile, oh, si loko-loko yan. Yan, ito, ginawa niya, I did this before. Only to find out after talking to that said person, siya pala gumawa. Baliktad pa. So, obviously, his love for the school, not just the school, the ideals. We were just chatting the other night at the table with Tito Gabi and the rest of the barkada, some of the barkada. And we were saying, there's a difference of during that time, to the modern DLSU animal, the spirit. It's a different time. Of course, it was all male. It was in the 60s. A lot of the brothers were Americans, right? Iba yung, and then he would always revert back to those times as the happiest of his life. Always. He always wanted to relive those times. And as much as I could, I would support him all the way. My story with LaSalle, after graduating high school, growing up, I'm Carlos Valdes III. So, growing up in a household and a clan that is as green as can be. There's only one school I had to go to, and it's DLSU. And there was only one course I was allowed to take, which was LIACOM, Political Science and Accounting. No other course. But of course, it's your choice, but right? So of course, entering the halls, what is that main entrance? Is it LS? Where the Hall of Fame is? Right? LS, LaSalle, right? Guys, Animo, LaSalle, right? LS, you enter Hall of Fame. So you see all of those names. And then I'm entering as a freshman and all the names are there. Valdes, Carlos J. Valdes, Gabriel A.S. Valdes, Antonio A.S. Valdes. Sabi ko, naku, patay na ako dito sa school. Any case, I didn't finish in LaSalle. After 2 years, I went to UP and decided to chart my own path. But many years later, seeing the camaraderie all of you have, seeing the joy that my father experiences when he just relates, and when he sees old pictures. Oh, si ganyan, when we were young, we did this, we did that, Itos, you're so heavy, when I was young, such an athlete. Wala ka sa akin. Ganun siya. Sabi niya. Diba? So you can see some of the pictures here. And then one story he told always, diba, was that he was awarded. Now you will tell me if this is true or not. Because he cannot deny it, right? Anymore. He told us that he received the award for Athlete of the Year. So ba yan? Parang quiet silang lahat. Kailan yan? He told us he received the award for Athlete of the Year. And going up on stage daw to receive the award, happy siya, then he stumbled. It's happy. So he repeated that story every chance he got. And now it's burned into our memories forever. And these and other stories, all of these faces that I've seen throughout the years that my dad loved and loved to be with and tell us about, All of them have become like my second fathers already. Some of them, like Tito Rafi, have become very good friends to me. Jaco, Tito Juby's there. They've become very tight to me and we have we seem to have a shared history because Tito Juby is my mom's classmate. So, pero yung kalokohan, si Jaco mas maloko sa akin. Mabait ako. So, but I wanted to say, tonight will be a fun night. I think the stories will speak for themselves. And you're giving him so much joy laughing, I am sure. He died on Friday, December 30. December 28th, I noticed he said he was going to have lunch. This is Wednesday. He said he was going to have lunch with the group. Hi, Shin Lu. Because my dad, obviously, Kapampangan, he loves good food. Right? And he said, Hi, Shin Lu, masarap dyan. We were actually just talking about Hi, Shin Lu the week before. Parang Hi, Shin Lu, masarap yan. And he said, I'm going to meet the boys in Hai Shin Lu. And sabi ko, usually, because he's slowing down and he has his ailments, he cannot stay too long. He stayed the whole time. And I saw the pictures and then because we were preparing, because my brother Joaquin had a little get-together at home that night. And I was wondering, wala pa mga 5 o'clock, wala pa si Papa sa bahay. So, nandun pa sila. So, you must have enjoyed. And I liked it because kwentuhan yan. All you do when you're there is to relive your high school days, di ba? Paulit-ulit when it never gets old. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. So it never gets old. And he loved doing that over and over. He loved it. And of course, I just have to say, he was a cheerleader, right? He was proud to be a cheerleader. I personally started the National Cheerleading Championship in 2006. So all of these guys are all cheerleaders, but in the modern era already. So they come from different schools. There are some who played for LaSalle. And he would always tell me, wala yung modern cheerleading sa ginagawa namin dati. And he would say, I don't know why they play recticano that way. It's too slow. Because you have to rally your team. And of course, he loved it. And of course, tonight, we will hear all the stories. And I told them, actually I forced them, you sit here and you listen to these stories. So they're going to listen to these stories because it gives them a glimpse into an era that they never experienced. And it gives them a glimpse into a time that maybe things were a little bit more pure, a little bit less cluttered, maybe. So I just wanted to say, what you're doing tonight gives my father so much joy. I can feel it. I can feel it. So let's send him home properly. Right, guys? All right, so the first, am I supposed to introduce the first speaker? Ako na moderator. Sino? Vicky. Okay, so I'll pass the mic to Vicky. He will be your moderator for tonight. All right, Animo.
Okay, there's no particular order here. Those who want to say something, to remember Butch, are welcome to come up here. We can start off. I'm really soft-spoken. But sige, I will make it louder. as I was saying, anyone's welcome to come up here. Not only the LaSalle guys, but and anyone else. But we can start off with Toto. Yes.
Hi, good evening. I prepared something which I will just read so I don't digress and ramble on. I was not aware that Butch was suffering from any serious medical conditions. So the suddenness of his passing came as a total shock to me. At least he didn't have to suffer from a lingering ailment. It is hard to understand why these things happen. Why good people are abruptly taken from us, while many bad guys, many of whom are still in government, continue to live on. I guess only God has the answers. I have many memories of Butch, from the parties at his house, which he opened to everyone. Our eating binges, yes, he loved to eat. Japanese, Chinese, Filipino, whatever. And his girl will attest to this. Our many golf games, which spanned over 10 years. This included out-of-town trips to Clark, to Baguio, and even Cebu. Present most of the time were Gary Salcedo, Ed Tirona, Francis Choi, may his soul rest in peace, George Berhel, Oboy Casas, and myself. Competition was keen, even if we were just playing for peanuts, because the bigger prize was the bragging rights, which went to the winner. While most of us upgraded our equipment, in particular, we upgraded to Odyssey Hapdat and Scotty Cameron putters. He stuck to his old bladed bullseye putter and still managed to outputt all of us. This was the strongest suit of his game. Our ballroom dancing adventures, despite his bout, Butch was quite nimble on his feet. He was a good friend, highly supportive and dependable. He was a caring individual, generous with his time and his resources. He got things done, whatever the task. We worked closely together during our 50th anniversary preparations 3 years ago. And it was great knowing that he had your back always. He loved to joke around, frequently followed by his inimitable laughter, which sounded more like quack. I think Gary can attest to this, since he was often at the receiving end of Butch's jokes. He was not afraid to take positions. He led a crusade against monopolies and was very vocal against the likes of Meralco and the water companies. Butch played a key role in keeping Leocom 69 together. Many times he initiated get-togethers either at his house or at his favorite restaurant, Aishin Lu, for no occasion other than to just keep in touch. His passing will be a great loss to his family, to us, his classmates, to his associates in politics and business. But many fond memories will keep him alive in our hearts. So long for now, Butch. We will miss you.
Since we're into talking about golf, how about George? I have your name here. Somebody volunteered.
Thank you. All right. First, I want to talk about golf. There was a time when George before. There was a time when he was the I think, consul or honorary consul of Portugal. Most of you guys know it. Anyway, there was this time that I approached him as a favor for a group of 4 or 5 people to go to Portugal. And fortunately, he denied it. He had his own reasons, and I accepted them. But to me, it didn't matter. Trabaho niya yun eh. I mean, for all you know, there might have been a reason for his denial. Um, he didn't even bother to send a telex to, I think, the Hong Kong or Singapore regarding, he answered it plainly. George, I'm sorry, I cannot grant that visa. And I accepted it. And we were still friends after that. And we had some, like Toto was saying, a few ball games we had in Tarlac, in Baguio, and in Clark. And we had an overnight stay in Clark, and I was surprised to find out that he slept with his oxygen on. I wasn't aware that it was happening. And I had to find out ano nangyayari because something might happen and we didn't know what to do. And there were times that I couldn't join the group for 2 or 3 games. And I just leave my golf bag with Butch pakiakit na lang sa Baguio. And then I take the bus to Baguio. And when I got there, he was looking at me. Padre, may problema. What's that? I forgot your bag. Really? Yeah. Sorry ha. Okay lang. Anyway, sabi niya, naiwanan mo sa kotse. All I thought was, he didn't bring it down from the car, he just left it in the car. Anyway, we had a golf game, and then that evening or late afternoon, we went back to Manila. Remember, it was a Chinese New Year. And we had a late Chinese dinner in one of the restaurants in Tarlac. We enjoyed it, and after that, we had another game. He was quite good at the game. I was thinking, probably it's either he had the game, he took the game early. And then another instance was, we were together in the swimming team, together with Manolo Redova, who else? He was doing the backstroke, and Manolo was doing the breaststroke, and I was doing the freestyle. Sad to say, I don't know about what happened to the competition. I never won a medal. And my father was happy that I joined the swimming group, but sad that I couldn't bring up any medals, just like what Michael Phelps used to do. Anyway, that's all I could remember about Butch. And Butch, I hope you're playing golf in heaven. Thank you.
Thank you, George. I also wanted to be part of the swimming team, but the phones just didn't work out for me. Rafi, want to say something? Rafi Ubanco.
Good evening. I guess I do not have to introduce myself. Greet. For the others, Rafi Ubanco. Okay. Butch and I met, first went to school, Lasal grade school. That was fun, but it was more like playing basketball and all that sports, which he excelled in. When we were in high school, we had another endeavor. We were junior police at the time, taking care of the traffic in Taft Avenue. And when we see the car of the Gomez girls, that's Lilibeth and Connie and of course, uh, Mahilig. Yeah. Anyway, immediately we stopped the car so that we get a good look at body at the time. They had red ribbons in their hair, and there were three pretty girls. So we couldn't resist but stop the car. And every girl that comes from the Sanchon that passes and brings their brother to school, we would stop the car. That was fun because because of public area and we were in uniform and Butch and I, we are junior police. I'm sure one Megata remembers this. And what we used to do when we were officers, of course, we were wearing all this nothing uniform just so that we pretended that we were really back in TC. It was a basic ROTC training that we had, travel training, it's not a training. Anyway, Bush dedicated himself in sports. He was, when he was in grade school, he was already in the swimming team. And he was in that company, it was Manolo Lumpa. And what the other seniors? I don't remember now. Anyway, my relationship with Bush is interconnected all the way, which is simply that Connie is part of the governments, and my wife Julie, they had a group, and that's where I met my wife in Assumption. He did a concert there and we were all there, and it was an application. It was nice. Julie is the godmother of Angela, the beloved Bush, and Itos, baptism, baptism as well. Yeah. And then our relationship, my relationship with Bush was one of respect because I was not interested mostly in politics. But he will talk to me about it for hours, and I will have to listen and pretend that I also understand what he's talking about. Anyway, that politics, well, he is known for all his advocacies, and I hope that someday Butch will be again in a good place. Our children, grandchildren, great grandchildren will benefit from all the work that we have done. So Butch, let's be happy there. And yes, we'll see each other. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next one in our list is Manolo.
Yeah, Australia. Very short, because I'm going to join you again when we close all the speeches. But just very short. At that time, we were called Sallites. Sallites. Ngayon, Lasadian. Ever since Green Hills, sorry about Green Hills. Ever since they came, it was Lasadian. Pero kami mga Sallites. Sallites. Siga. I don't know who Siga. And he was one of them. He was tall, thin, and we called him Long Man. Anyway, Mrs. Estrada, I'm going to take the mic again later. Swapang.
May part 2. The next one's Freddie Burgos.
Well, there are so many side talks already about the friendship of Butch with all of our classmates. And I just wanted to emphasize, Butch and I got very much involved with cheerleading. Of course, I spent most of my time playing soccer for the LaSalle team. That's really when I spent a lot of hours and a lot of days. And of course, in the cheerleading, we were also cheering for Mr. Valdes here who can tell you right now, second by second, how he played during those games when LaSalle lost to Ateneo. No, but he was most of the time in the first team. He played a very decent basketball. And of course, he enjoyed it because you would come out with your shorts in the, in the Rizal Memorial, and all the girls would be looking at you, and that was great. But we would be there cheering all the time. But Butch and I spent a lot of time studying all the cheers and all of that for LaSalle. So we, aside from my soccer days, we spent a lot of time practicing the cheerleading. And in fact, I remember there was one of those times when LaSalle beat Ateneo in the Ateneo in Loyola. And we had to run. We had to run because the Ateneans ran after us because that was blue territory. No choice. So we had to run and to make sure we don't get beaten up. But so that's what I remember, which of course with many other things that we did. But the only thing I can say is Butch was always a super nice guy. And I don't think there's anybody in our class who can say anything negative about him. Because he was such a friendly guy and very sensitive about his classmates. Of course, he ended up with Leah Hong, while some of us ended up in engineering. Eddie Tirona was one of my classmates in engineering, and I don't know who copied more. I think we copied more. During school, how we passed engineering. Yeah, and of course, Kaloy here had the special privilege of being very close to Brother Benedict. So, if you were close to Kaloy, then you were made, and when you were in engineering. Anyway, Butch, I hope you continue with the kind of friendship you had with all of us, and I'm sure you will, because if there's anybody who deserves to go up there with the Lord, it's this guy, because he loved people and people loved him. Thank you, Butch. Join you again later.
Thank you, Freddie. I think we can give Kaloy a chance now to revive or to talk about Freddie.
Untuk sa sport niya, ang buhay,
Good evening, I'm Kaloy Valdes. Fortunately, I have the same first name as Butch's father. My father and Butch's father were classmates in LaSalle, and they also played in the basketball team. And so we're second generation, all of us second generation friends, because first our fathers were classmates in LaSalle, and then we continued. I've been trying to think, I've been trying to recall of how Butch could have been athlete of the year. And the best that I can come up with is that probably that was for his class. Okay? Because we didn't have that anyway. We did not, there was no athlete of the year. That I can recall.
Now you
That I can
know.
recall.
Now you know.
Well, since it was in Euro also, Carlos, I just found that place. So you
Now I know.
you had that in your mind for so long. Been trying to figure it out since you mentioned it. The only thing I can come up with is that because the other thing also, there's so many athletes in our time that it would be very hard to choose one, even in the individual classes. Butch was a good swimmer, definitely was a good swimmer. Played basketball also, believe it or not. But really, cheerleading together with Freddie and some other guys was his strength. In second year high school, I also was cheerleading, but these guys don't remember anymore. They don't want to remember that. They will remember the stories of when I was playing. Of course, were nicer for me because they were cheering for the whole team, and they have no choice but to cheer for us, win or lose. I think we won them most of the time. Freddie mentioned losing to Ateneo. We may have lost to them. I remember beating them more frequently than I'll tell you, the NCAA opening, when we were first year college, they put Nasal Ateneo. That one we won by more than 30 points. I don't remember anymore. 30 plus points. The year after, in second year, again, La Sala de Neo, we beat them by 40 plus points. And opening an NCAA. So, it would take the whole season for the Athenians to become friends again with us after beating them that way. It's not that we were that good, it's not that they were that bad, we just played a good game and they did not play a good game. I was actually told I was going to be the, not MC, but moderate the guys to keep them from talking too much. I have to make sure that I don't be the first one to violate that. Butch went we about, Freddie mentioned that Brother Benedict and I were good friends, which is true. Like, he was friends with many of you also. He forgot to mention that he was a better friend of one of our teachers in engineering, in thermodynamics, who taught us a very difficult subject. His name was Pepsi Galsa. So Freddie's nickname in our class was Pepsito, meaning small Pepsi. Because he would always get the questions that Pepsi was going to give us and so on. The problem with Pepsi Galsa was that he would lecture about thermodynamics, and at the end of the lecture, many of us did not understand. I was one of those that did not understand. He'd crack a joke about his mother-in-law. So you forget about all the thermodynamics during the period and you remember the joke. Then the next day he'd show up and say, we're going to have a test. So he didn't tell us, I told you, of course you could not argue. So we took advantage, but our way to get even was when he was late for class in the afternoon, we would get out of the class just before he would. In college, if he was late 15 minutes, you can leave. Right? And he would park his Beetle there on Taft Avenue, so we could see him coming. And sometimes it was not at 15 minutes, and the whole class would, or majority would leave. Maybe Ador Bacani would stay, the summa cum laude guys would stay. But when I decided to, I actually taught a little bit. I taught 1 year after graduation, and what I told myself is, I do not want to be like Pepsi Galsa as a teacher. Because he was a good teacher, except that he made you forget you would not realize how difficult it was. What he was teaching was not difficult because of all of his jokes with his mother-in-law, about his mother. So anyway, I'm looking up the shit and it's probably saying that I'm already talking too much. We always appreciated the cheerleaders. Butch was one of them, Freddie was one of them. And like Manuel Rodolfo says, we are true green-blooded Sallites. Thank you.
Thank you, Lord. Gary, did you want to say something? Or Lee? Gabby Valdes will say something.
Hi, my name is Ed Tirona. I met Butch first in high school. That's where I joined LaSalle. I was not in the grade school of LaSalle. Because my name was started with P, and Butch was B, and Yupanko, and Yuhiko, and David, so we were all at the end of the class. We had a nice time. But let me tell you about our golf. Our golf was fun. There was pustahan, but 150 pesos to lose. It's really bragging rights. And Gary would always publish the scores every week. So we knew who was the winner last week, how much money he made. But more than that, I don't think you guys know that we went into a business venture in Orchard. Spearheaded by Butch and of course Gary Salcedo. I think it started because Gary had a crush on this woman who knew how to cook. So I think there were 5 or 6 of us. We chipped in, I think, about 5,000 pesos each, no? More? But anyway, we rented this place beside the store in front of Orchard. And we had a tarpaulin. We bought a few cooking equipment. And of course, Gary was always comparing with the girl on what to cook and what to serve. So, I think the people who enjoyed the Carinderia more was us. Every after game, we would eat there and we would talk and talk and talk and talk. And ate of our lobby and our food fare that was prepared for us. That was the fun of golf. It was also fun that we were watching each other driving less and less. From 190 yards, to 180, to 170, Kasi pagod na kami, And we were more excited about, especially Gary, the camaraderie after the golf game because that good-looking girl was there. Unfortunately, that ended. It ended in a sour note because suddenly the girl found somebody better than us. So she left us and eventually we decided, tama na itong kalokohan na to. So we just stopped the whole operation. But Butch and Gary were the spirits of this financial debacle. But we enjoyed the game, especially those times that we spent. I think the only guys who were eating in that Carinderia was us and our caddies. And our caddies, tinitreat pa namin, they don't pay. So that was fun. And I treasured the friendship of Butch during those golf games. We played practically 10 years every Wednesday with Orchard. we would go out eating also elsewhere. I remember one time we bullied the manager of a Chinese restaurant along the Anghari. He didn't want to give us the discount that we were supposed to get as seniors. Kasi we were all seniors, ang dami namin. We were about 10 of us, 4 seniors. And sabi niya, no, hindi pwede. Kasi sir, yung menu namin, naka-discount na yan. No? Hindi pwede yun. Alam mo ba? Sabi niya, quoted below about seniors and what kind of punishment and imprisonment he will undergo if he did not give us our discount. Finally he did. And then somebody said, hindi mo pinawas ng bat. Pati ba yung bat, sir? Siyempre, kasama sa lawyer. No? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this thing came out in one of the columns in the newspaper that a group of Sallites golfers bullied the manager of a Chinese restaurant. That was us. And we had a good laugh after that. We had a good laugh because we would take coffee in Alabang after the golf game. We had tons of good laughter there. So, Butch, we will always remember you. You wait for us in heaven. We will form our golf game there. Sigurado 280, 300 yards at drive natin. For sure. So, thank you, Butch, for the friendship. Thank you for the good times.
Yes, Gabby.
Good evening. I'm Gabby Valdes, the older brother of Butch. He just told me to say a few words, and I will say a few words. Butch is always connected to sports. Always connected with sports because we grew up together in sports. My father was the first sportsman in the family. He played for Ateneo, played for La Salle, both in basketball and football. So we watched him even as we were small, playing in the La Salle football field, in basketball with the students. So we grew up with that atmosphere. I remember just now when he just talked to me, one of the prize pictures we have, Butch and I, we weren't even in school. We must have been 3 years old, and I must have been 4 years old, 3 to 4 years old. And we had basketball uniforms, pants and shirts. And guess what the shirts were? They were La Salle basketball shirts and pants. And that was one of the first pictures we had put together. So at 3, 4 years old, we were already being conditioned to play basketball and in sports. And so as we grew up, Butch and I learned all of the sports that we learned together. Because that was how we were raised. We were only allowed to go into sports. Didn't have too many other activities. We learned how to swim together, and we learned how to play golf together. And because that was what we were allowed to do. So the sports became our outlets in a way. But, that was the only way we could get out of the house and be ourselves. And that, it seems, widened our circle and cemented our friendship with the La Salle guys. And that love for the school more than ever, made us what we are. As Manolo said, we are La Sallites, and that is so. If you're a La Salite, you understand what that means, The cheering in La Salle versus Ateneo at the Rizal Memorial, that is something that is no longer present now. I was reminding Nonoy that from his house in Vito Cruz, when it's a La Salle Ateneo game, you could hear Rizal Memorial reverberating, with the cheers. And that's the kind of cheers we were exposed to.
So, and also till later years in life, Butch and I would still play golf the same way with Gary and the others, and we even put up, I think, one golf tournament between the Butch 63 and Butch 64. And we played in Canlubang and we had lunch all together. Unfortunately for Butch, we won, but we had such a nice time. And it was really how we appreciate school and the friendship that comes with school. It's hard to describe that your best friends really come from the growing up years in school. And so I'm very thankful for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. We now call on Gary. That's a few words for us.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, I just wanna clarify some of the statements made by the previous speakers. I did not like that girl cooking for us. She was the one after me. Okay, but now in terms of the financial aspect of that cafeteria, we actually lost money in the first year. But we were on the verge of making money in the second year. Thus we went bankrupt. Okay, so that's basically the reason why we ended up in the cafeteria is because every time we order something in the clubhouse, that's orchard, either they don't have what we want, or when they have it, there are so few ingredients in it. It's almost soupy in essence. So that's why we. Let me just bridge my relationship with Butch. I graduated in high school, 63. Gary was my batchmate. Same with Manolo. Now, as we call it today, I had sabbatical. I intended to stay away from school, although my parents thought I was going to school. My plan was 1 year. A cousin of mine and I, we frequented Bago in Sabunan, Hayalay, etc. But then 10 years, rather 10 months, was already boring. So I approached Brother Benedict and I said, Brother, I want to come back and study. He said, pass the exam. You pass it in India. I did. And that's where I connected with High School 64. Now, come to Butch. Butch was also a diacon as well as I was a diacon in 69. And we were into accounting. And Butch was just copying from us. I mean, that is true. And as a matter of fact, when I retired, I said, Butch, I can't believe that you do like this. I mean, you write so well, you speak like you know what you're talking about. I just can't believe it. And sure enough, and he gave me a litany of how many years he was with the advocacy like the Rouge and all of these things. And I spent time with Butch along with Manny Lupano to the point that we would come over to San Juan and swim with him so that we do this every week on summertime so that we get an exercise going. And there were naturalists advising people simply walk around, be mobile, and all that stuff. Now, let's go back to December 3rd. I was, as usual, woke up at about past 9:30, and so the first thing I do is I look at my Bible. And I saw a posting in the High School 63 Bible group, and it was from Gary. And sure enough, I saw Butch passed away. I can't believe this. It's just not true. So immediately I called up Gabby. I said, Gabby knew it was me because somebody, I hardly had said anything, and he said, it's true. And that's when I posted exactly the posting that Gabby had sent over to me. All I can say, well, nothing much we can do about that. Butch was the kind of individual that do not exhibit that kind of bad things happening to him. He's very close to his heart and whatever he feels. He would not let us know if anything is wrong. But he is very, very vocal in terms of his belief and his advocacy, okay, KDP, the Rouge. And he would spend hours with us talking about it. And we will miss that, of course. Last night, I was looking at some of the postings that Butch had sent to me personally, I guess. And I don't know if the one I'm going to read to you has been published to the other groups. And let you decide on how he felt. That's something to do with Anton. This posting, or this message from Butch was sent to me a day after Anton passed on. And it goes, Anton had a witless smile, a smile which exuded with sincerity, kindness, gentleness, compassion, and joy. Though I painfully miss him so much, I am comforted by the thought that he now smiles the happiest amongst us. Because he is in heaven and in the presence of God and in the company of all our loved ones. It is difficult for us to move on without feeling the large void Anton has left, because he and Itos have run the affairs of our family for some time now. Anton's presence, his diligence, his patience, his infectious love, his affection and love for his family is irreplaceable. I am consoled by the knowledge and proudly proclaim that I now have a son in heaven. Thank you for the privilege of loving you, Anton. And thank you for all the love you have given each and every one of us. Butch, Anton, may you both rest in peace.
Thank you, Gary. Is there anyone else in the group who wants to say something? If none, I'd like to call Nono, who will kind of summarize and read some of the letters that were sent by classmates from abroad. And Nono will kind of capsulize it.
Actually, I'm carrying another of it. Padala ito ng mga kasama natin. There is another plan.
Good evening, everyone. What I'm carrying here really is a bunch of emails from people who have been abroad. And when they heard about Butch passing away, they sent this emails to us. I don't know if you would like to listen to my reading them. Maybe I could ask some people to read some of the emails. There are about 7 of them, if I'm not mistaken, coming from the US. Are you open still to reading some of this? Okay. Mabigat ng trabaho. The first email sent here comes from Benji Aragon. Benji Aragon. For those that don't know Benji, he is running a cell in El Nido. El Nido. If you happen to go to El Nido, look for him. Yes. His hotel is right there on the shoreline of El Nido. Benji finished his high school in Malate. And then he went to the South, Leopon. And this was what he said. From Benji Aragon and Dido Palawan. I first met Butch during the early days of my college freshman year in the South. That would be 1964. I was new to the school and felt a little apprehensive moving in a new world full of strangers. Butch was one of the first true green guys who went out of his way to welcome me to this new world. From our first meeting, he made me feel like he had always been a friend. Butch and I hit it off right away. He quickly introduced me to other guys who were to be my classmates in the account. Around 10 of us eventually coalesced into a close-knit group which was nicknamed the Goons. And thus we started 53 years of sharing trials and triumphs, laughter and sorrow, with Butch always playing a central role. After school, we each went our separate ways, but we could always count on Butch to bring us back together. Long months and years of not seeing each other would be forgotten in the camaraderie of true and tested friendship. Butch was a born leader in words and in deeds. He had a vision of how good the world could be, and he would try to bring out the best in every person in order to achieve that world that he has envisioned. He lived a good and just life. He loved his family and friends and cared deeply for those whose lives he touched. And through it all, whether the sun was shining or the rain was pouring, he never lost his sense of humor. It has been my honor and privilege to be counted among his friends, and I will treasure the memories I shared with Butch for the rest of my life. Benji. The next one comes from a very popular guy by the name of Chito Villamera. He said he doesn't want to appear because he'll just cry. And I said, okay, I cannot cry for you maybe, but I'll give it a try. Anyway, this is from Lake Forest, California. This is what he said. Butch. The charisma and leadership qualities of Butch were in full display as early as our school days. He was active in sports and in school politics. This charisma made him popular not only in Lasal, but in the women's schools as well. That's why he had girlfriends in all those schools. Ewan ko kung totoo yan. Ayaw magsasabi. Okay. Anyway, Butch's leadership skills were manifested also in his field of work, accounting. He led their accounting firm at an early age. Tama ba yun? Gabi? Early age? Anyway, but really, Butch was running CJ Valdes for a while together with you guys. I think when your papa was on an ambassadorial stint outside. But what strikes me most personally was the kind-hearted and compassionate nature of Butch. I saw this in him when he was very concerned regarding the condition of another friend, Babe Sandiger. I think many of you know Babe Sandiger. Babe had a vertigo problem and it affected his work. So as a result of that, Babe became a semi-recluse at a later stage in his life due to this problem. And Butch was very worried about this. Butch then took it upon himself to send Babe for some therapy due to that vertigo problem. Butch, Babe, and I, according to Chito, spent a large portion of our lives together for almost 10 years. Going to Bataan every weekend to his nipa hut in La Mirada, as he calls it. We had the time of our lives spending it there. Tito Charlie and Tita Aida would check on us from time to time to see if we were good boys. Ha, si Chito pa rin yun. We had many crazy times together. Butch even made Babes and I become his guinea pig for his cooking experiments. We had no choice but to eat his sinigang na bayabas and kare-kare. Both were so terrible, but he would force us to eat them. I will keep this short as I will break down if I go any longer. I really miss him a lot. The memories I have with Butch will stay with me a lifetime. I would smile and even laugh to myself when I recall them. Butch was a very dear and special friend and a brother as well. Babes, Bombardia, Adrian Morelos, and you are now together in heaven. We pray for that. I hope I can make it there one day to be with you. Rest in peace with the Lord. Chito Villanueva. Are you still with me? Game pa ba tayo? Meron pa? Meron pa? Seven. Mga apat. O ito, summarize na. Ito may entering regalo from Las Vegas, Nevada. Butch may have gone, but we will always remember his sense of humor and his exploits on our classmates' gullibility, especially Chito Villanueva. The one thing I will always remember him was 3 years ago at our Jubilee celebrations, last night at his house, when he asked me, Teng, kailan ka ba babalik sa Pinas? I said, Butch, if you win in the upcoming election, where he was running for a seat in the Senate that year, Butch ran for senator in 2019? 2019. And then he said, I will come back right away to celebrate with you. Butch said without hesitation, Oh, that means you'll never come back. Which he concluded with his unique laugh. Yan ang sabi niya. So Butch was always about getting us together, wherever there was an occasion to do so. It was this way during our college days and continued after college. And our jubilee, which he spearheaded, was a culmination of his desire to always keep us all together. Butch will be missed. And thank you. This one comes from G.D. Pandillo from Staten Island, New York. Farewell, Butch. Your humility and generosity showed me the true meaning of friendship. Fond memories will stay in our hearts forever. Till we meet again. Jimmy. Now I have another one from George Valdes. But my boss says maybe I should not read it. But there's nothing wrong with it. I will read it. It's really that.
Just look through my plans.
This happened because si Benji Aragon from Endito texted people and said, go and write something about Butch. Anything. So George sends this, and he says, the instructions were my essay should not, for Butch should not be more than 25 words. Anyway, I think it exceeded. He says, one time, the beginning of our class, years in South, after classes were done for the day, some of us in our group went with Butch for some extracurricular activity. This is George Valdes saying. We got inside this bright blue Mustang. At that time, Butch and Gabby had Mustang. Tama ba ba?
Yeah.
Anong color do you have?
Blue.
Light blue. Ayun kay Butch.
White.
White. Okay, nagkalito na sa kulay. But anyway, sabi ni George, we got inside this Mustang, and before starting the car, Butch said, bilisan nyo, sila ng bintana, close, roll up the windows, since he was going to turn on the aircon. As soon as everybody did, he let out a loud fart. And those that were near the car window started to roll down the And I guess from the outside, George said, one could see heads coming out of the window and trying to get some fresh air. George said, I don't remember which in the group was with us then, but that was a classic example of a Valdesian humor. Far different from the Salsidian theories. Godspeed, Butch. George. On my way here early this afternoon, this is probably the last one that I will read. I received an email from June Flores. Do you remember June Flores? For June Flores, if there was any sportsman, he was actually seated on the bench of Lasal basketball teams. Di ba? Tama ba? Scorer. How about the scorer? Anyway, June Flores also stays in the US. He retired from, I think, Portland or something. And he said this, Noy, I realize this is late, but I leave it up to you to read it or omit it. So, sabi ko, kapag na papasahin. He says, last year, when I was hospitalized with COVID, si June Flores, I was able to get in touch with Butch. And he told me to keep the faith. I told him I couldn't pray anymore. And he said to me, okay, just keep quiet and listen to him. He will talk to you. I did as he said. And remarkably, I sensed, or rather I could hear him talking to me and telling me I will be fine. I never forgot what Butch said. It strengthened my faith in the Lord. I realized that Butch had a great faith in the Almighty. Thank you, Julie. I guess there will be more messages coming, but I never got them early enough. So I think I will just try and summarize. Tonight being a green night, I think what is most important is that we are all Christians. We were raised as Christians. And I think that is what Butch exemplified. As was said yesterday by some of the people from KDP, they were mentioning that they never knew Butch. But he inspired them to speak of the truth. Keep talking about the truth. Because somehow, somewhere, there is only one absolute truth anyway. And we will all be together as one. But in seeking the truth, what is important is, sana wala nang fake news, no? Kasi maraming nagsasabi, maraming truth, pero di naman totoo. So the truth must be mixed with what we call grace or truth. When that combines truth and grace, I think we are going towards where we all want to be when we end our life. I'd like to thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Roy. As Manolo warned us earlier, he'll be back.
I'll be back with reinforcements. Ready. You know, Butch was always very close to cheerleading. And I'm very close with Freddie in cheerleading. He didn't go to me for the cheerleading position. So I said, why? What is cheerleading? I said, libre in jacket. Anyway, last time we were in Butch's place at San Juan, he was really so disgusted with the way greetings. There was no orchestra, we no orchestra, band. Kasi we would always sing the victory song with a band. Then, number two, the Recticano. Why? Because look at Recticano. Recticano, that's not the way Recticano is supposed to be done. Galit si Butch. And then the last one was the Hail Hail. He was part of it because he was a student of Brother Malachi, a song's ready. So ready, let's do it for Butch. This is for Louis Louis. That's right. I was in BBM, the graduate of Green Hills. Kaya siya, nasal yan.
Grade school lang.
Grade school lang. Wala mo saan yan. Anyway. Cheers. Cheers for all the sun. They got me there for cheering her name. And her voice is clear song. Shout out the thunder from out the sky. Slowly on the great or small. All the suffering we know we're all. Father, loyal sons are marching. Onward to victory. Rah, rah, rah.
Everybody, let's go. Let him rise up. Oh, boy, pa yan. Right now, ready. 1, 2, 3. The most important that Gabi wants to promote, and it's not necessarily promoted.
This is the song that Lasal sings whether we win or lose.
Win or lose?
Usually we win.
We hold your banner high and bright, a shield of green and white, with honor to your glory bright, and never shall we fail. Hail to thee, our alma mater. Hail, hail, hail.
Good time.
Hail to them, we hold your banner high and bright, a shield of green and white, we'll fly to keep your glory bright, and never shall we fail. Hail to thee, our alma mater. Hey! Hey! Hey!
Ano mo, Butch?